Hi guys, I hope that you enjoyed our special intro, and this 3D quick tip video is like a celebration of the release of the Avengers Endgame into the cinemas. I was lucky enough to work on that film, and I hope you will have a great experience when you watch it in the cinemas. Today we'll talk about snaps in Maya, and you will actually learn how to create something with snaps instead of destroying half of the universe like Thanos. We will create this amazing building using this model kit, and we will use very basic snapping tools located in this panel over here, and a bit more advanced tools in modify and align section over here. Let's just go for it. And we will start with grid snap, which is this button. Rather than pressing the button, we can use a hotkey, which in this case is X. So if I select the object, go to the transform and hold X, you can see that the gizmo changed from square to a circle. And when I move right now, it snaps onto the grid. If I release the X, it works without the snap again. So rather than pressing the button, I just press and hold X, then release, and I have a normal move again. It works both with components and objects. So if I want to snap a vertex, I select the vertex, go to transform, and hold X to snap. Everything depends on the resolution of the grid. I can change the resolution by right-clicking the grid icon here and change the grid line units to, let's say, 10. And I have a little bit more steps to snap into. So we can start to assemble this amazing model kit by snapping this into the origin. The next one is a curve or the edge snap, and it works in the similar fashion. Just by holding C, I can snap to the edge which I'm hovering over. So if I want to move it here, I just move it without the snap and then press a snap and move it close to the edge, and it starts to snap to the edge. Very simple. Works with both objects and components once again. And the last one I'm using quite often is a point snap, and the shortcut for that is V, and I can snap to vertex. So if I select sphere and press V and hold it, it starts to snap to vertices, points. It's super useful. I'm using it all the time. So we can once again start assembling this piece together by holding V and snapping to this vertex on the base of the column, and we start to assemble this. These other two are not particularly useful because this one is for snapping to projected center, doesn't work much with the polygons. This one is just for creating geos if you are creating them interactively on a grid. I've never used these two. If you want to snap objects, like a center of the object to a center of other object, you have two options. There is one trick which I particularly like, is that let's say I want to snap this sphere to this capital, which is the top of the column, and I want to snap them middle into the middle, like a center, a pivot into the pivot. What I can do is select the sphere, select the capital as the last item, and just click translate and press the tab button, press it again and press it again, and it will align all three axes to the capital. That's one way to do it, and the other way is a bit tricky. You select the objects you want to snap to, go to display, transform display, and display local rotation axis, and you can see that it created a little axis in the pivot point, and right now you can just translate, and with holding V key for point snap again, you can snap to that display point. and we replicated exactly the same thing as before. Once you finished, you have to turn that off again by clicking it in the menu again. So these are two options how to snap into the center or pivot of the object. And last item in this menu is live snapping, which is pretty unique and special. And I can actually show it to you on, let's say, this piece. If I press the magnet icon in here, it creates the live surface. You can see that the wireframe turned green, and you can see the object listed over here. And I cannot select it. Right now it's a template. Whatever I do right now, like moving the object, you can see in here that we have a circle again. That means the snapping is turned on. And if I move, it will immediately snap onto the surface of that capital 001. However, it's not changing the orientation based on a normal. That's the different snapping I will show you later. This is very useful, especially when working with the quad tool for retopo. So I can make this surface live and go to the quad draw tool and start to paint polygons and retopologize that surface. But that's a topic for another video. That's the main use of live surface, to keeping one geo on top of the other, because when I move the vertex right now, it always sticks to the surface of that live surface. But I will talk about that in the next or future videos when we will talk about the retopo. So there's a live surface, and this little arrow will actually list all the recent live surfaces you used before. So that's all the basic tools, and let's jump into proper, more complicated align and snapping tools. With these more advanced tools, we'll finally assemble this amazing model kit together. And all these tools are located in Modify and Align section, as I showed you before. So let's just tear this menu, because I will be using them all the time right now. We will start with the Snap Together tool, which is my favorite one. It's super simple to use and super fun to use actually. You just press the menu button, select the object you want to snap somewhere, and you can see this little arrow which indicates the normal and pointing where it's gonna go. And I click again at the destination, and you will see this nice arrow showing you where it's gonna travel. It will snap exactly in this place. If you want to snap it to like a center of the face, you have these options over here. If you double click the tool in the menu, right now it will even rotate the object. If you turn just move objects only, it won't rotate it, it will just move it. So it's similar as the live surface I showed you before, with just an object instead of components. And snap to polygon face, it will snap it to the center, but I want it to snap it exactly in the place I have it right now. So just to confirm that, I press enter and snapped. Let me just a little bit readjust that. I don't want it to be precise because it's just a toy model kit, right? So it doesn't need to be precise. Let's snap the rest of them. Just press enter. Snap again. Come on, snap. Press enter. And yet again. And enter. And we can just slightly readjust those, and we have columns ready. That was for Snap Together. Super simple to use, right? Let me just group these columns together with the Control or Command G, and I will have them as groups right now. Next tool I will show you is actually the Align Objects in Snap Align Objects menu. Let's keep it open over here. And it's really simple to use because you have the help of these icons over here. Let me demonstrate it, let's say, on these 3 objects first. It's really simple to use. If I press this button, it will align the bottom of the objects in the axis we will choose. So let's say in the world y-axis, and it will do an average of all these 3. So if I press it, you see, and go to the right, you can see that the bottom is now aligned. If I want to align the top, I will just switch it to the top and it will align the top. If I want to, let's say, align them in the middle of the x-axis, I set it up like this. It's very simple to use, and you can snap them either on an average or the last selected object. So if I want these 2 to be aligned to this one, I will select it last, select the like a minimum, for example, in an X, and it will align these 2 on this plane. It's quite similar to the align tool, but the align tool allows you more interactive representation. Let's move these over here and align the columns to the place. I can actually select the entire group and then select the platform and turn on the align tool, and this visual cue will open. It's a little bit confusing on the first sight, but it's very simple to use. It's actually the similar menu what we saw before. If you imagine that this right now is a one plane representing the axis we want to move it over, and these 2 objects, this is also the axis, like the line is the axis, and the filled object is the last selected, that means the platform, and the hollow cube over here is the column. So if I press these 2, it will align that column onto this plane to the very edge, and both will be aligned together in the, what's that axis, in a z-axis. So it's like a maximum z-axis, and I can actually do it for in all the axes at once. So if I want to align it in here, that's, oh, that was an x-axis, this is a z-axis, right? Yes, this is an x-axis, this is a z-axis. So right now I will align it in an x-axis once again in the maximum, and the last one will be top down. And that's sometimes hard to find. And it's really hard to find because of one reason, because this object is not tall enough to fit all the gizmos in there. So what I can do is just extrude the face down, which will allow me to fit these gizmos right now, and then I can just delete that extrude node at the end. If I want to align the column with the floor, I will pick this one because it's the top of the floor, which is the filled rectangle, and the hollow rectangle is our column, so it's the bottom of the column, and we are exactly aligned. So I can do it for the rest, like quickly select this. If you want to know how I do these quick selections, definitely check my other videos. I have a video about selections. I will link it over here, so definitely check it out. So once again, I'll align it, for example, here. And yeah, sometimes it's a bit hard to find the ones you are looking for. I want to sit them on the top, and I want them to be over there, and the other one to the side, inside, and to the top. And the last one, align, forgot to select this here, no, and this side, and yeah, this side, and to the floor. And right now I can delete that extrude face node, and we are back where we were. The last set of tools I want to show you is point-to-point snaps. That's used in very specific occasions, I would say. I will show you exactly what I mean. Let's rotate this piece to give it like a super weird orientation and freeze the transform. All the three are almost the same. It just depends on how many points are you selecting for snaps. If you do just a point to point, it will just move the object and it won't change the rotation. If you have 2 points to 2 points, it will change the rotation, but it won't be exact. It will be just 2 axes aligned. If you select 3 points, you will have an exact match. So that's why I'm almost all the time I'm using 3 point to 3 point. Let me open the option box too, so we know what's going on. And we want to restore the position of this and match it into this place, which has some kind of a rotation, but it will be super hard to just move it and try to rotate it in place. It will never match. With 3 points to 3 points, it will be super easy. And how you do it is selecting the first object, going to vertex and select 3 vertices. They don't have to be on the same edge. It's even better when they are quite on a different place, because it will create quite a unique axis or a unique plane to reorient your piece. So select 3 vertices, 1, 2, 3, let's say. Shift select the target object, go to vertices and select exactly the same ones, 1, 2, 3, and then just press apply, and you see it disappeared, but it didn't. They are actually laying on top of each other. And even though they have very different translation values and rotation values, they are matched like 100%. If I show you the wireframe, you cannot see the difference. This is particularly useful if you are aligning like blend shapes, if you have half of the mesh exactly the same and the other half is different. It's a really useful tool. Or if you are snapping like LiDAR scans or photogrammetry stuff together, it's very useful. And there is one also very useful option. If I rotate it again and reset the transforms again, let's say I need to maintain 0 transformation on this object, I can group it and tell the script to, instead of changing transforms of the object, change the transform of the parent. That means it will change the transform of the group. If I select the vertices now, shift click, select the same ones, come on, and snap the parent, rotation and translation of the object itself will remain as they were, and all those translations and rotations will be on the parent. That's really useful thing when you cannot change the transforms of the object itself. And as I said, these two are very similar. So that's basically it. There is one more, like positioning along the curve, which is literally what it says. If I have a curve and I select like how many objects, let me just delete this one and duplicate it to a new one. If I select like 4 objects and the curve as a last and position along curve, it will just snap these objects into curve with similar spacing. And that's it. There is no options where those objects should be like percentage wise or anything. And that's it, guys. That's all the tools I wanted to cover. Let me just finish this amazing model kit with our favorite snap together tool. So I want this to be snapped here, enter, press G for repeat action, this to be snapped here, G again, this here, and this here. And with the vertex snap with the V, let's snap it to very top, and we have amazing model kit done. Oh, here, amazing model kit done. So I hope that you enjoyed the little showcase of the snapping tools in Maya, and you can see that with the snapping in Maya, you can actually create stuff and not to destroy half of the universe like Thanos did in Avengers. I hope you will enjoy the film. And if you like my videos, just subscribe to the channel, follow me on social media, and see you next time.